I'm just devastated.
Stories of survivors.
What could have happened to all these people that took care of us, and my son could have been in there.
Tonight, Northeast Texas recovers from a deadly outbreak of tornadoes. We'll show you new video of 3 different twisters and the massive mess left behind.
My God, there is stuff in the air.
Plus, a troubling trend: inappropriate student-teacher relationships on the rise across the nation and here in Texas.
Certainly one case is one case too many.
The KVUE defenders take a closer look to see how this is happening next on the Night Beat.
This is KVUE News Night Beat.
And the sun shining light on a dark time in Canton, Texas today. Residents getting their first look at the damage left behind by last night's tornado. Good evening, and thank you so much for watching KVUE. I'm Brandon Jones.
And I'm Chris Betts. The damage is immense as towns slammed by tornadoes begin to pick up the pieces. And here's what we know tonight. The National Weather Service says twisters killed at least 4 people yesterday, leaving behind a trail of destroyed homes, businesses, and churches. At last check, Northeast Texas hospitals admitted 49 people for treatment, and 2 are still in critical condition. 2 people are still missing. Governor Greg Abbott says he may soon declare this a disaster area.
I've seen the rubble of what used to be homes, not houses, but homes, where people live, where their lives have been a part of for a long, long time, suddenly ripped away from them by wicked winds that pierce through here and are gone the next minute. We as Texans, especially the folks here in East Texas, we come together and respond to challenges like this and help our neighbors. Now is a time for us Texans to come together and help our fellow Texans rebuild their lives.
And the damage is massive tonight, and this may explain why. Just one tornado could have been 51 miles long. Here's a look at where those tornadoes touched down last night. You can see they sliced right through Rains, Van Zant, and Henderson counties.
Our crews have been on the ground since those tornadoes hit last night.
And as you can imagine, this community is still in shock. But KVUE's Jason Puckett, he caught up with some people who are doing the best they can right now in this time of need.
Just 2 weeks since Easter.
Look, I found a coffee mug.
But this Sunday, folks in Canton were searching for much more than eggs.
I found a whole book of pictures.
Yeah, so anything that's valuable to them, pictures, jewelry, clothes, stuff that I guess that you would want if your house was destroyed.
A community out to help one of their own rebuild everything.
We didn't hear all that much.
Saturday night, when the sky got dark and the wind picked up, Ron Seal and his wife ran to their storm shelter.
It was muffled. I mean, we knew it was happening, but it was a muffled sound.
With their 2 dogs, they sat underground while their home and everything in it was ripped away.
We've been down here many a times on storm watches, but every other time, you know, we'd come up and it'd be okay. But boy, this time it was not.
You walked out of that, and this is what you saw?
Yeah. Nothing.
As he took us through what was once his home,
big carport where the trucks are,
the reality kept sinking in.
Of course, it's gone.
That if it weren't for that storm shelter and he believes someone watching from above, he, his wife, and his dogs wouldn't be here today.
I'm sorry. It gets a little emotional. But we're lucky. We're lucky, but I don't know if we'll ever get it cleaned up. Well, we got to, though.
And with the help of his community, he is already on the way.
Enough.
Jason Puckett, KVUE News, Night Beat.
It's dirty.
And you may not remember the tornado that hit Van, Texas 2 years ago, killing 2 people. 43 more people were left injured. Many schools were canceled the following Monday from major damage. Nearly 100 homes were destroyed. The National Weather Service reported more than 70 tornadoes nationwide over that weekend, stretching from Texas to the Great Lakes region.
And here's how you can help. There are 2 American Red Cross shelters in Emory and Canton set up, so if you would like to help those recover, just head to KVUE.com. You can search tornado recovery, and there you'll find links and numbers in the story for you to follow to help the people rebuild their lives.
And meteorologist Lene Myers joining us right now, and some pretty devastating stuff across northeast Texas, right?
Yeah, Brandon, we're talking about very large, long-lived tornadoes produced by those big supercell thunderstorms that we always talk about this time of year. Springtime in Texas can be deadly, and unfortunately, last night was for those folks in Canton in the Van Zant County. Let's go ahead and take a look at where that weather system is now. Continuing to push off towards the east, moving into Georgia and eventually Florida later tonight. As far as central Texas, we're clear, but see that big spinning upper level low? That was part of the reason the system was so strong. And again, you mix warm, humid air. This is what we saw yesterday around 4 p.m. We rewinded our max storm radar. Let's put it in motion, and this is when things started getting deadly for areas near Canton. 2 tornadoes, the longest ones were EF3 tornadoes around 6:24 p.m. is when they touched down. Very long-lived tornadoes. In fact, take a look at some of these stats right here. The National Weather Service went out to investigate the area. They said so far they've seen 4 tornadoes reported. This is all preliminary, so it may change, but they did report 2 as EF0, so that's wind speeds between 65 and 85 miles an hour, but 2 of them were EF3s, so winds between 136 and 165 miles an hour. One of those tornadoes was on the ground a little over 40 minutes, and the longest one over 90 minutes, actually closer to about 100 minutes on the ground. So we're talking about some very strong tornadoes. Now here for Central Texas, we saw a few thunderstorms, but we always gear up for the next round. In fact, we've got another round of severe weather possible later in the week. I'm going to tell you when that could be at your doorstep coming up in just a few minutes.
As a result of our investigation, we have concluded that the reported conduct does not constitute harassment.
That letter you just heard from Bowie's high school principal in South Austin has Joseph and Jennifer Merrill in shock. They're the parents who filed a lawsuit against Austin ISD after they say their daughter was repeatedly harassed by another student over the past several months.
And today they have come forward to actually talk about their demands for the district, as well as sending a message to other parents. The couple says another student has had a history of stalking, creating emotional outbursts, and most recently staging a suicide attempt in front of their daughter. The family says staff was aware of the male student's behavior and was informed of his mental state by his parents since the fall semester. Now, Merrill says no one was notified about the latest incident. They say the district is violating their own Title IX policy, sex discrimination, which is why they filed that lawsuit.
They need to not just review our claim, but they need to look at every parental claim over a time period, because this is a systemic problem. If you don't stand up for your kids, no one will.
Demand the district to implement an anti-harassment and anti-bullying approved by a third party and provide a school safety coordinator for campuses. They also want the male student expelled. We did reach out to school officials on Friday, and we have not yet heard back. Well, dive teams searched Lake Travis this afternoon after authorities say a man went cliff diving and never resurfaced. Sheriff's deputies say a 21-year-old along with 2 other people were on a party barge when they went cliff diving. They had flotation devices, but the 21-year-old lost his device and never came back up.
And as one of the swimmers was swimming back to the boat, he lost his flotation device, went down, and never resurfaced.
Now, 2 of the 3 people came back up from the water and returned to the boat. Dive teams are set to continue the search tomorrow morning. Well, with the marking of 100th day in office behind him, President Trump is now facing a week with a deadline to avert a government shutdown and a chance on progress on health care.
And today the president appeared on the Sunday talk shows and refused to give a straight answer regarding military action in North Korea. Instead, he's trying to turn attention to another big campaign promise, health care. The president tweeted today that a health care plan is on its way, and he said it would have lower premiums and deductibles. Members of Congress have reached an agreement to keep the government running for the next few months. Congressional Republicans and Democrats agreed to a $1 trillion spending measure to fund the government through September 30th. That marks the end of the fiscal year. That deal would add billions of dollars for the Pentagon and border security. However, it does not provide money for President Trump's proposed wall on the Texas-Mexico border. Votes in both the House and Senate are expected by the end of the week.
Remembering those who died in the line of duty. We're actually showing you video right now from tonight's the Texas Peace Officer Memorial. The candlelight vigil took place on the north side of the state capitol. Senior Police Officer Amir Abdul Khalik is among those honored tonight. Officer Amir Khalik died after being struck by a car while escorting a funeral procession on North Burnett Road last year. 20 other officers will have their names engraved on the Texas Peace Officers Memorial.